Hello and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about simplifying fractions. It's probably worth having watched my video on equivalent fractions so you understand that fractions can be worth the same even though they've got different numbers at the top and the bottom, different numerators and denominators. Now what you need to do, I've written this in advance to save time as I'm going through it, is if I have a fraction like this, so I'm going to start with 5/10. Now some of you will look at that and just know straight away, well 5/10, I've got 10 pieces and I want 5 of them. Well 5 out of 10 is half of the pieces, so 5/10 is the same as a half. And although we can see that, when it gets more complicated we need to actually know a method with which we can do it. And this is what you need to do. You need to divide the top and bottom number by the largest number you can. And I've written a kind of fancy maths down at the bottom, which is to divide the numerator and the denominator by the highest common factor. So you've got that as well. Anyway, so let's go back to this. So what is the largest number that I can divide 5 and 10 by? It has to be the same number. Well, as soon as we see that, I know that I can divide them both by 5. So let's write that in. And remember from my video or your learning on equivalent fractions, as long as I do the same to the top and the bottom number, the fraction will be the same. So as long as I divide them both by 5, the fraction will be the same. And 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2, showing me that 5/10 is the same as a half. Let's do a couple more of them. So here's another one. What if I come across a fraction like this? Maybe I've got 8/32 or 8/32. Well, again, I've got to think, what's the largest number that will go into them? Now, people often think and think to themselves, well, what I need to do is divide it by maybe 4, because 4s go into 8 twice, don't they? And then how many 4s in 32? That's 8 4s are 32, but that would get me, let's just try that, because that's what I've thought. So I go to divide it by 4. I'm going to have to do the same to the top and the bottom. So let's try that. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 32 divided by 4 is 8. Now, what I've done here is I have simplified it, but I haven't got it as simple as I could, because I could still go another step. I can still divide 2 and 8 and make it even smaller. What I can do is I can divide that again by 2. So I can divide that by 2. So sometimes you might need to do more than one step if you don't see straight away the number you need. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 1/4. Because often one forgets that, 8 goes into itself. So 1/8 is 8. So what I really should have done to have saved doing 2 steps is thought to myself, well, how many 8s in 8? That is 1. How many 8s in 32 is 4. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. And 32 divided by 8 is 4. So always think of the largest number you can get. Right, let's look at another one. Right, here we go. Let's go for 18/27. Now, it's when we start getting onto this kind of maths and fractions particularly that you'll really see how important it is to know your times tables well, because when you know your times tables really well, you can just start identifying quickly what the numbers are that are going to go into 18 and go into 27. So I can look at this and I know straight away that 18 and 27 are both in the 9 times table. So I can divide them both by 9. 18 divided by 9, and remember I've got to do the same with the bottom, so I'll do that there. 18 divided by 9 is 2. 27 divided by 9 is 3, so 18/27 is the same as 2/3. I've got 32 56ths, and let's see if we can simplify that. So again, let's have a look. What is the largest number that goes into 32 and into 56? And it is, of course, 8. So So 32 divided by 8 equals 4. 56 divided by 8 equals 7. So 32/56 is 4/7. Let's just do one more for luck. Let's go for 50 over 65. I mean, we can look at this and straight away we think, well, that's not a very easy fraction to deal with. 50 lots, 50 bits taken out of 65 bits. So what's the largest number that will go into that? Now, actually, that's got to really think about that. Well, 10s won't go in. So, of course, 20s or 30s. 25s go into 50, but not 65. I actually end up pretty sure that the largest number will go in is 5. So let's divide them both by 5. 50 divided by 5 is 10. And 65 divided by 5, well, if 10 5s are 50, well, then there's 15 more to get to 65. That's another 3 5s, so it's 10/13. I can always check. I can say to myself, well, can I divide this again? Is there any number that goes into 10 and 13? And there isn't. So there we go, simplifying fractions. Divide the top and the bottom number by the largest number you can, or divide the numerator and denominator by the highest common factor. If you want to know any of these terms, like for example factors, just have a look and search for my other videos.